Welcome back, folks, for a new episode of Leaked. Now today we'll discuss the changes to the FV4202 from a normal tier 10 British medium tank to a premium tier 8. So basically, the FV4202 never had that much frontal armor, nor the L7A1 gun. And with this change, it will become more historically accurate with the Action X Centurion replacing it at tier 10. So basically a little history about the FV4202. It was a prototype and a test bed in the development of the Chieftain. So back then, British engineers were trying to figure out how to have a tank with the mobility of a Centurion and the firepower of a Conqueror. So they were testing different turrets with different gun configurations. And one of these tests was the FV4201 Conway, as you can see here. So basically they put a 120mm gun directly on a Centurion's hull, and the results were not that successful. So this tank was kind of scrapped. But as you can see, the FV4202 has some resemblance to the Chieftain in the turret design. So basically they tweaked around with the turret and mounted the 120mm gun later on. So yeah, you can see the resemblance, but here are the main stats about the new FV4202 at tier 8. And here we have the new in-game models for the FV4202. As you can see, it's a pretty tank now because the cupola is a lot smaller. So that's a major difference between this model and the old one, which is a plus to this tank. So the ability to go hull down is even more effective because of the smaller size of the cupola. So that's a welcome change. That's pretty nice looking too. So that's pretty neat. But here are the main stats for this tank. So it is a premium now at tier 8, and it will cost you around 11,000 gold. But this is just a placeholder, so we don't know yet. Now if you already have a FV4202, you will get a mission to get this premium tank for free. But I don't know how difficult the mission will be, so you don't have to buy it if you already have a FV4202 at tier 10. So alright. It has 1400 hit points, which is good for a medium tank at tier 8, because the likes of IS-3 has 1500. So just barely off from a heavy tank. So that's quite good. It weighs 41 tons, which is kind of heavy, alright. Top speed is 35 kilometers per hour, which is not great because Centurion Mark 1 can go up to 40. So it's not that fast, but it has 20 kilometers per hour reverse, which is quite good, So alright, it has 51 millimeters at the front now instead of 120, 51 at the side like the old one, and 32 at the rear like the old one. Turret armor is 170 at the front, 90 at the sides, 90 at the rear. The old model has 190 at the front, 190 at the sides, and 35 at the rear. But I'll talk more about armor later on. So alright. Hull traverse is 42 degrees per second, with turret traverse at 32 degrees per second. So turret traverse is not that great. Hull traverse is decent, but turret traverse is kind of slow, more like a heavy tank, so that's gotta suck. View range is 390 meters, which is decent, alright, at tier 8. Centurion Mark 1 has about 400 meters, so just 10 off, but alright. Radio range is standard, 750. It has a 510 horsepower engine, so power to weight ratio is not that good, 12.26. So it's not as mobile as the likes of a Russian or American, so that's gonna suck. But terrain resistance is pretty good, 0.6 for hard, 0.7 for medium, and 1.2 for soft, so it doesn't get bogged down as much. 20% chance to catch on fire, so alright. It uses the Type B barrel of the 20-pounder gun, so that's an upgrade to the Type A barrel on the Centurion Mark 1. So it uses the same gun on the Carnarvon, the Centurion. Alright. Penetration is the same as a Type A barrel, 226mm. Damage is 230, so it has the best penetration, like the Centurion Mark 1. But it reloads a little bit faster, 7.6 rounds per minute. I think on the Centurion it's 7.4 rounds per minute. I don't know, I can't remember well, but 7 point something, not 7.6. Alright. Accuracy is the same as the Centurion, I know that, 0.33, which is very good. Aim time is a little bit off from the Centurion, I think. Centurion has 2.3, so just 0.1 second off. Alright. And it carries 50 rounds with gun elevation of 10 degrees, or gun depression of 10 degrees, and gun elevation of 20 degrees. What the hell did I wrote that? Alright. And it has 2 degrees of gun depression at the back, so alright. And here we have a side-by-side armor comparison between the old model and the new one. As you can see, the cupola is a lot smaller, but only 60mm instead of 200, so alright. Top of the turret is half of what it's used to be, so that's gonna suck. 140 in comparison to 280, so that's gotta suck. Side of the turret is 157mm in comparison to 180, 190-ish, so that's gotta suck. The turret ring is the same, so that's good. Alright. The cheeks are pretty much the same, 170mm in comparison to 150-ish, 160-ish, 190-ish, so pretty much the same on the cheeks. Alright. Now the frontal hull is very, very different. 50mm in comparison to 120mm. So basically, effective armor at the front on the new model is about 150-ish millimeters, whereas on the old one it's about 210. So that's very big of a difference. Now lower plate is the same, 75mm at 50 degrees. So alright. Side armor. Let's look at side armor. So basically we turn this tank around. Side of the turret is now 20mm less, 25mm less at 117.5. So alright, I can turn on the collision model so you can see it better. But the 200mm around the turret ring covering the lower part of the turret is the same, so that's a plus. Side armor is the same, 51mm with 6mm of space armor covering the sides. So alright, but the major difference is the top of the turret. So that's only like 20mm less effective. So alright. And finally we have the comparison between the new FV4202 with the Centurion Mark 1. So basically it has 50 less health than the Centurion. So it weighs 2.5 tons less, but it has a crappier engine. So power to weight ratio is bad in comparison. 4.5 less. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Chassis traverse speed is 42 degrees per second in comparison to Centurion's 36, which is actually good. Forward speed is 5 less than the Centurion. The Centurion's already slow, or slowish, so that's gotta suck. Now it does get better terrain resistance than the Centurion, so that's a plus. So pretty good terrain resistance, so that's good. Alright, let's look at the view range. Centurion has 10 more meters, alright, and 30 more meters of signal range, so alright. Penetration on the gun is the same type of gun, so 226mm, which is good, very good for a tier 8 medium tank. Same damage, alright. Same module damage, alright. Reload time is the same. What? Actually 0.07 seconds off, so pretty much the same, but it carries only 50 rounds, whereas the Centurion carries 65 rounds, so you can actually spam a little bit more with the Centurion, but alright. Accuracy is 0.31 on the Centurion in comparison to 0.33. Now, I'm wondering if this is 100% crew stats, but if it is better on the Centurion than on the FV4202. So, alright. Aim time is 2.2 seconds on the Centurion, whereas it is on 2.4 seconds for the FV4202. So that's gonna suck. Gun depression is the same. Gun elevation is better on the FV4202. So alright, that's great. But yeah, I don't know if this is 100% crew training. So I mean, it's almost the same as a Centurion, but with a little more aim time. So you have to play this thing a lot like a German sniping tank, like all British mediums before, but yeah, alright. So in conclusion, the new FV4202 is a lot like the Centurion Mark 1. While it has no good hull armor, it has a decent turret armor and a sniping gun, so use it to go hull down and snipe at targets like a German tank. The only thing that's off-putting is the power to weight ratio is 12.26, which is borderline heavy tank status, which is kind of bad, but it is counterbalanced with very good terrain resistance. So alright. The aim time is 2.4 seconds, which is mediocre at best, and the top speed is 5 kilometers slower than the Centurion, and the Centurion is not known for its speed. So ick. View range is also 10 meters less, so that's gotta suck. But all in all, this tank is not a bad premium tank, so to speak. Now these stats are not final, and I would expect they're gonna buff this gun up because it is the Type B barrel. So I expect it to do a little bit better than the Type A barrel on the Centurion Mark 1. So alright. But if you already have a FV4202 in your garage, you will get a mission to get this tank as a premium for free, obviously. But if you're gonna buy this tank solely from your garage or from the game gift shop, I don't know, unless you really like the British medium tank line, this is not a bad tank to grind up credits. But if you don't like the British tank line, and getting this tank as a money grinder, I would suggest a T-34 though, so, or an IS-6, but it is a premium tank, so alright. But thank you guys for watching this video, and hope you guys enjoyed it. So this tank, I mean, it could bring back some nostalgic factors and scare off like tier 10 mediums like the Object 140 or the T62A. But once they notice that it's not the same tank, I don't know. So alright. But thank you guys for watching this video, and rate this video if you can. Leave a comment below on what you think about the new FV4202. And subscribe to my channel for more leak info about what's coming next for World of Tanks. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.